and welcome to Lecture Loops. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. What according to you is the best feature of C++? Don't forget to tell me in the comments. So in this video we are going to cover the topics like variables, data types, and also we'll see how to perform IO operations in C++. So let's start without wasting any time. First of all, you should understand basically what is program and what is programming language. So basically, for program, you must have, you will be having some problem. So you'll be given some problem statement. Then you will develop a step-by-step solution of that problem. Okay, this step-by-step solution is nothing but the program. Understand? Okay, so suppose you want to make pizza tonight. So you must have a recipe or step-by-step method to make this pizza. Understand? What is the second important thing that you need to make pizza apart from the recipe? Yes, correct. Ingredients. You must have ingredients. Okay, like pizza sauce, cheese, vegetables for toppings, pizza base, and so on. So if you have right ingredients, you have correct recipe, then you can definitely make a pizza. Understand? In the same way, for solving any problem, if you have step-by-step instructions, then you also provide some input data to these instructions, then you will definitely get a correct solution, or you can say the desired output. Understand? So this is the program. What is programming language? Basically this program is written in a language that is called programming language. Basically this problem is going to be solved by the computer, and computer is actually a machine that understands only the language of 0 and 1. We can say the machine language. Understand? You write your instructions in a programming language like C, C++ or Java or Python or any other programming language. So what happens? You write instructions in any particular specific language. Then these instructions are converted into machine language so that computer can understand them and execute them and give you the desired result. This this translation is done by any compiler, the language compiler or the interpreter. Understand? So this is the role of programming language. Now we will understand what is actually variable. I have already told you that input data is also important. So for any program, instructions are important as well as data is important on which the manipulation is performed. So where to keep this data? Everything that you have to store or use inside computer, that you have to store it in the memory, computer memory. But you can visualize computer memory as a large container containing a huge amount of data. So this is a program, this is a tiny program, a small program that has some small data that you are going to use in this program. So this program has to store this data inside the memory, and whenever it requires, it also want to access this data from the memory. So this is the basic problem. So to access anytime the data, then we use some name. This name is actually called the variable. So you can assume that like it is a memory location where you store your data, and this memory location is given some name. This name is actually variable. So what is the definition of variable? The definition of variable may be, it is a name given to a memory location. Understand? And also the data that you are going to store, it is not constant actually. You can change the value of this variable anytime, so that's why it can vary. That is why it is called variable. Understand? The next thing is for variable, it is very important because it is the name given to the memory location. So name is also important. So there are some rules, identifier naming rules that we have to follow while naming these variables. What are identifier? Actually, in any the programming language, there are two things: identifier and keywords. Keywords are what? Some words that are reserved for the programming language, or they have predefined meaning. Those are called keywords, like void is a keyword, like cout, it is a keyword. So there are various types of keywords that are used in a particular programming language, and identifier are actually the user given names. User defined names are called identifiers. We name variables, functions, classes, etc. Okay. So what are the rules? These are very simple rules, like you never use digit at the first place. Okay, and you only use alphabet and digits, and only one special character, that is underscore, can be used. No other special characters like comma, dollar and spaces cannot be used. So these are some naming rules. Then the next thing is, in C++, it is compulsory that before using any variable, you must declare it. Understand? Before using any variable, you have to declare it. Then how to declare the variable? For declaring variable, you have to mention the data type like this, then one space, and then the name of the variable, and then the semicolon. It is like int x, float, age, semicolon and semicolon. What happens with this declaration statement? As soon as you write this statement in your program, memory is reserved for this program named as x, okay, and also for age. So memory is reserved for your variable x and age because you have declared only these two variables, and you can visualize it as empty boxes. Empty boxes are created for your variables. Understand? You can keep your values inside these empty boxes whenever you require in your program. Then what is initialization? The next important thing is how you are going to assign the values. Now you have variables, you have empty boxes. Now how to keep the values inside these boxes? It is a very simple statement. This is called assignment statement or the initialization statement. When you assign the value to a variable for the first time, then it is called initialization. You can assign the value to a variable as many times you want in your program. Okay, so like name of the variable, assignment operator, and the value you want to assign. Okay, like this. Understand? What will happen? This value, that is this is assignment operator, and the value at the right hand side will be transferred to the variable at left hand side. So 132 will go inside x, and this 28 will go inside this age. Understand? So this is about the variables. If you understood this much, then do one thing. Please like this video. Okay. So with the many likes, now I move further to data types. What are data types in any programming language? So it is very simple. What are data types? It actually types of data. What is type of data? Means like it defines some characteristic of data and also the associated operations with data. For example, you can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication on numbers, right? So numbers are actually there are actually integer, float, double, character, boolean. These many data types are there in C++. These are basic data types. You can say primitive data types, and string, array, structure and union. These are derived data types. Now in this integer, float, double, character and boolean, these integer, float, double, these variables are actually, these data types actually represent numbers. Positive numbers, negative numbers, we can use various types of numbers. We can use this data type to store numbers. Alright, so integer actually stores whole numbers, and float and double actually stores real numbers with fractional values. like 6.7, 0.001, while in integer you store whole numbers like 60, 36, 67 and so on. Understand? So this is the difference between integer, float and double. Okay, now you can see that float requires 4 byte of storage and double requires 8 byte of storage. What is this byte? Actually this is the storage requirement of a particular data. For example, integer requires 4 byte of storage, float requires 4 byte of storage, double requires 8 byte of storage, while character requires only 1 byte of storage, and boolean also requires 1 byte of storage. It also determines the range of a particular data type, means how big value we can store and how small value we can store in a particular data type. That defines the range of a particular data type. Okay, so the difference between float and double is only about the range or the size. That is, we can store more we can store larger numbers in double and smaller numbers also in doubles. Very accurate small fractional values we can store inside double. So a program that requires large number of calculations, or that requires more accuracy, then you can use double data type. All right, so this is all about integer, float and double. Now we come to character. Character is basically, it includes all the characters from the character set of the C++, like alphabets, digits, any special characters. The only two conditions are there. It must be a single character, and the second condition is it must be enclosed in single quotes, like this. This is a character, this is also a character, this is also a character. This is one, but it is enclosed in single quotes. That's why it is a character. Okay, and then dollar, asterisk, enclosed in single quotes. All these are examples of character data type. Right? What is boolean? Boolean can store two values like true or false. Okay, so these are all about the important basic data types of C++. Now we move to the program, okay, where we are going to make a simple C++ program so that you can understand the input output operation and declaration more easily. Okay, so move to that part. Okay, so this is the basic structure that you have to write in each and every program. Okay, so IOStream is actually the header file that you have to include if you are using cout and cin, and also there is main function. C++ starts executing its statement from main function actually. So you have to write all the statements inside main if you want to execute them. Then there is int main. Actually you can also write void main. Basically int or void, it basically specifies the return type of a particular function, because main is actually function. This we will come to know when we will study about functions in detail. Okay, now here we will use cout and cin are basically the objects that we use to display or take input from outside world into our program. Okay, so let's see. Suppose you want to display a message from your program, and that the message is like lecture loops is awesome. I know that is only going on in your mind right now. So let's compile it. Yes, lecture loop is awesome. Let me correct the spelling. Yes. Okay. Now suppose you want to print another message like this. Hello, and then put semicolon. Then what happens? Let's see. Yes, you can see there is no space, and it is printed just where the first statement is ended and hello is printed. If you want to print it in the next line, then you can put this and L, and then you can see that now it is printed in the next line. How to print the values of the variable? So we have to declare the variable. Suppose I have declared a variable and assigned a value, initialized it with value 30. Now I want to print the value of this variable. So what? Again you have to put this and x and semicolon. Now we have not enclosed this x in double quotes. So whatever be the value of x, it will be printed here. Okay, how Yes, you can see x equal to 30 is printed. Okay. So in this way we can put any statements in comment, and if we put any statement in comment, then it will be ignored by compiler and it will not be executed. Now we will take how to take input in C++. So I am declaring a variable y here, and I will take the value of variable y from user. So for that you have to use the object cin actually, and you have to write y. Okay, in C you have to write all these things, %d and %f. All this is not required at all in C++. Okay, so you can simply write cin y. So yes, x equal to 30 is there, and here we can input the value 67.9 and then press enter. Okay, and in this way the value of y is we have taken as input, and now you can also print the value. If you want to print it, then you can also print it like y equal to y. Okay, and you can also write a message so that you can understand that actually here we have to enter the value. So it is like enter the value of y, like this. Okay, put semicolon here and like this. Okay, enter the value of y. Now suppose I enter the value as 78.97, then you can see the value of y as 78.97 in this way. Okay, so this is the basic thing about this programming. And yes, so do you know how size and range of data types are related? Or do you know what are the ways to express floating type values? And also see this program and tell me the output in comments. Okay. If you want to study with me, then please subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get a new notification whenever a new video is published. And remember, one lecture a day keeps programming errors away. Bye bye.